Hi, my name is Jessie Tierney. I'm an integrative doctor of physical therapy at Resonant Frequency Medicine in Colorado. This is an exercise on how to passively plantar flex your ankle. Plantar refers to the bottom of your foot, so you're pointing the ankle and toes downward in plantar flexion. For this exercise, you might need 1 or 2 yoga blocks, and it also might be useful to have a hand towel or a washcloth size towel. You'll begin on hands and knees with knees wide as your hips apart, and you'll stack your 2 blocks one on top of the other in this configuration, or depending on what your blocks look like. So then you'll be able to sit down onto your 2 blocks. If this is already a big stretch for you, some people will feel it in the knees and the quads, some people will feel some strain in the ankle, then you might even need a 3rd block, or to stack your blocks differently so that you can be tall enough to achieve sitting on your block relatively comfortably. From here, let's say this is the affected ankle. You'll see how straight you can get the top of the foot to the floor. Now, depending on where you're at, you might be up here, you might be up here, you might be closer to the floor. And depending on that distance, you can take up the negative space with your rolled towel or washcloth by just rolling it and placing it under the front of the ankle so that you can be relatively comfortable with your foot moving toward flat. Now, for some of us, this might be where it's at. This might be a significant stretch. You might feel sensation in the front of the foot, and this is where you get to hang out passively. I also wanted to just share, if this is not fully comfortable for your body, an alternative is to step the opposite foot forward so that you're more of in a sort of acute seated position. This is just another option. My body's finding this a little more comfortable. And then once you're in position here, you might find that taking some deep breaths, your body begins to relax, and you might have a little bit more space to move into, or to lower your hips closer to your ankle. So if that's the case, then you could come back to hands and knees, change the level of your block, or maybe even take 1 block away and find your way into seated. Another way that you can work here is by giving gentle overpressure just above the ankle, just above the heel on the ankle, above the malleolus bone. And I'm using a grip where it's called a lumbrical grip. It's where the inside of the thumb and the pointer finger is pointing down. My fingers are pointing laterally. My thumb is pointing medially. I'm locking my elbows straight and then just using the weight of my arm to apply some pressure down, letting it off, applying pressure down and letting it off. Another way you can also work like this is at the palmar surface of the foot, taking the palm of the hand to the palm of the foot underneath the calcaneus and just pressing down with the weight of your body by leaning toward that foot and angling your wrist in a downward direction. Maybe you'll find that now you have more capacity to go a little bit lower or deeper into the exercise. I'm just going to show this from the front as well so that you can see what it looks like and the amount of angling that I'm doing with the body. And I'll just place this under here, placing the hand in the lumbrical grip, palm faces back. I'm placing the hand onto the ankle, and then I'm locking my arm straight and then just leaning toward the ankle and letting off. So I'm not just like sitting here for a long time. I'm giving these gentle oscillations. When you do this gently, it's more for alleviating discomfort as you're exploring into the new range. And then the alternative position, palm of hand to palm of foot. Again, I'm really leaning over to achieve this gentle plantar flexion. An alternative for the foot, the opposite leg, the foot can come forward. And so This is one of the passive and facilitated ways to achieve plantar flexion, which is when the toes and foot points down in a downward direction. Another way to work with plantar flexion is by working off of a step. So we'll do that next. A lot of the factors really depend upon where you're at in your recovery, so be sure to get specific instructions from your therapist before doing this at home. But this is another way to work more on active plantar flexion. So let's say this is my affected foot. I'm going to take the balls of the toes across the edge of the step. My opposite foot is forward to counterbalance, but you can also do this on the stairs at your house. And then we're going down into dorsiflexion, which is this movement of the back leg, as far down as I can go. And then the opposite, slow motion, pressing down into the ball of the foot and coming up as high as I can into, this is active plantar flexion. And you can also bend that knee, or if you have something to hold on to, you might keep that leg straight and come onto both toes. So depending on your level of recovery, here's the dorsiflexion. I'm going to my maximal range, so I feel a bit of a stretch. And then I activate my muscles as I'm slow motion coming into plantar flexion, which is the goal movement. It's like wearing a high heel. You want to go up as high as you can so you have maximal range in the toes and in the ankle. You can repeat this 5 to 8 times, super slow motion, to begin to build strength and active capacity in the ankle.